Welcome to Wednesday on the Pagan Perspective. I'm Yucca, your former Thursday host, but now Wednesday host. JD was wonderful and very graciously agreed to switch days with me. I was having a little bit of trouble making Thursday work, so I'm excited to now be Wednesday, even though I'll miss Thursday since I was Thursday for years and years, but I hope to really do Wednesday justice. So this week we have a really sweet topic, and it is to share some poetry or the such which is meaningful in our paths. Now, I had to think a lot about that because I am not a very verbal person. Speaking is very difficult for me. And although I love reading, I listen to lots of books, I read lots of books, I just don't connect with words on a very deep level. Things that I connect more so with are actual experiences or visual things. So, thinking about what I could do this week, I thought, well, why don't I share some of the art that I've been doing which is relevant to my practice? So, I'm going to go ahead and just pull that up onto the screen now. This one is for Emblick, and what it is a tapestry. I'll eventually print it out. It's a 14 by 36 inch, and my plan is to do it for each of the 8 holidays. This is a draft. Once I finish all 8, I'll probably come back, do a little bit more editing to make them all fit together a little bit better. But basically, what I wanted to do was do something that represented the holidays for us and for what it really is for our practice, because, or the seasons as well, because there's some overlap with what you'll find out there, but there aren't really, it's difficult to find like a tapestry or decorations which really fit with what we practice. So I realized that it would be a really interesting topic to do a full video on what each of those, the seasons and holidays, are to us, but that was a little too much outside the scope of this video, so I've gone ahead and made one on my personal channel. I'll put the link in the description box, and if you want to check that out, please feel free to. But anyways, moving back to this one, what I've done here is, and I'll probably actually come back and redo this text because I painted this in Photoshop, but I think the text I really want to do in InDesign, where I have a little bit more control on that. The name of the holiday on the top, and then its kind of second name down on the bottom, which for us is Second Winter, and the Celtic knots in the corners, which have some important that represent important things to us, as well as the Wheel of the Year. Same thing with those, the knotwork going down the side, and all of that will match between the 8 holidays. Now, Emblick, the main figure that you're probably seeing is the mix between a bovine and caprine-like entity who is both bull and cow, because for us, Emblick is very much honoring those beings with whom we have that symbiotic relationship. It is a celebration of the milk of the livestock and of that connection. Each of the holidays is connected as well to some of the other beings who we have very close, important, who we depend on, and with whom we have the symbiosis. But then I also went ahead, it is a celebration of fire, but it isn't, it's a subtle fire, and that's why there's the candles. And coming up from the candles, there's the little sparks coming off of it, and I actually did the constellations which are visible from my part of the world in the sky. You can't see a lot of them, but what you can see is there's Orion there, Lepus, Canis Major, and those are the ones that you can really see clearly, but there's a few of the other stars there in the background, and the very fiery forest, fiery background, the spiral as well, which is another really important symbol for us during that time of the year. And up above the horns, or the bovine leghorns, because there's the caprine as well, is the Cross of Bridget. So celebrating that, honoring the idea of her, but much more so because we aren't theists, although we kind of like the symbology of her because she represents for us Ireland, which is where a lot of our ancestors are from. We're Celtic Americans who identify very strongly with our Irish, Welsh, and Scottish backgrounds. And the blacksmith and the forging elements. So that's what I've got for Imblick, and as I develop it, I'll probably share that on my personal channel more. But for me, this is the closest thing to poetry in my path, and it's really neat to share this with you guys. So I appreciate that. And I think next week is subs week. February is always so short. So I will see you Wednesday, or Wednesdays in March. Until then, take care.